Sawadee ka! Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So with Christmas coming up, I thought I should share with you some Thai Christmas recipes. But turns out there's no such thing because we don't celebrate Christmas in Thailand. So what I thought I would do instead was give you different ways that you can tie up your leftover Christmas roast, whether you have roast turkey, roast chicken, roast beef, roast tofu, roast vegetables, whatever it happens to be, all of these ways are going to work. So they're not really exact recipes that I'm going to give you because everybody's going to end up with different leftovers, but they're all ideas that you can totally apply. So our first tie-up idea is we're going to yum it or we're going to laab it. Yes, yum and laab are both types of Thai salad. What I'm going to do today is closer to a laab than a yum, but it doesn't matter, just the idea that matters the most. So what I've got here is just some roast turkey actually that I made the other day and I just shredded it up. I warmed it up just so it's not fridge cold anymore. You want this to be, not cold. And we're going to start by making the dressing. So in my mixing bowl, I'm going to add some lime juice. So as I said, this is not an exact recipe, but I'm going to give you a rough ratio. You want to do 1 part lime juice to 1 part fish sauce for this. And lime juice, fish sauce is the start of every Thai salad. If you want to do this vegan, wait a minute, we're doing turkey. So this is definitely not vegan. But if you were to do it vegan, you can use soy sauce instead. Okay, so that's just about roughly 1 to 1. And then for this, I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar just to balance out all that sharpness. And I'm just using light brown sugar, maybe a little bit more. If I weren't lazy because it's like day after Christmas dinner, I might use palm sugar. And then just gonna stir that until the sugar is mostly dissolved. And then super, super important, I'm gonna add some chilies. And this, I'm telling you, you want because, Christmas dinner isn't something spicy. It's going to be heavy, rich, and cloying. And so the bright, the spicy, all of this stuff is going to be key. Okay, I'm going to add some shallots, or in this case, thinly julienned red onions, which is a great substitute for shallots. We usually use shallots in Thailand, but I happen to have half a red onion in the fridge and I needed to use it up. So, and then my chicken turkey leftovers. This will work beautifully with beef as well, or actually roast vegetables, or your roast tofu. And then some toasted rice powder. This is so important right here, and this is what's gonna make mine more of a laab than a yum. You can omit it, but I highly, highly recommend it. It's super easy. I've made it many, many times. You take uncooked rice, put in a saute pan. I like to throw in a magrut lime leaf in there as well, just for aroma. You can throw in some lemongrass if you want. Cook that over medium-high heat until it's nice and golden brown. No, not golden, deep, deep brown. And then you're done. Grind it up in a mortar and pestle or coffee grinder, and there you have it. Magic powder right here. Okay, we're going to use it actually in a couple different recipes today. So that already looks good. And then I'm going to add some fresh mint and cilantro. Boom, boom, boom. And then this is like leftover, so you can start throwing other things that you have as well. Whatever herbs you have, even if you have dill for some reason would go well. Green onions. What else would go? Even if you have like non-Thai herbs like tarragon would probably work really well. And because we were freestyling it, I need to taste it. So good. Just can't go wrong. I don't even need a recipe at this point. Just that combination is just guaranteed to be delicious. And it's spicy and tart and sour. And with the mint leaves, it's fresh. It's better than the actual Christmas dinner, I'm telling you. Whoo, you got some sticky rice on the side. And you wish you'd actually done this for dinner. For the second idea, you can tom it. So tom is a Thai term for boiling, and it's also what we call our soups, and you can turn it in any kind of soup. Tom yum, tom kha, tom sap, tom klong, tom kati. Oh, so many toms, my God. So what I'll show you today is the basic tom yum, but then I'll kind of talk you through different variations, and also I'll put more details on other types of soups that you can turn this into in the written recipe on the website, okay? Linked below. So I've got here some turkey stock, and it could be chicken stock. I'm using unsalted, which is preferred. I wouldn't use store-bought beef stock though, because store-bought beef stock has a really intense flavor and it's not gonna quite work. So if you're gonna use store-bought, stick with chicken stock unsalted, preferably. This was just turkey bones that I boiled for a few hours. I'm going to bring this to a boil. And then our herbs, the classic tom yum trinity, which are also the same herbs that you add in tom kha, tom sap, tom klong, like all those toms use the same herbs, okay? So I got lemongrass, which I've smashed. I've got galangal, which I've thinly sliced, and these are frozen, and also makrut, lime leaves. So the lemongrass, galangal are gonna go right in. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, and it instantly smells good. And then with the lime leaves, I'm going to bruise and tear them first. Just give it a nice bruise and tear. And by the way, I do freeze these as well. And the bruising will help the flavor comes out. For spiciness, I am using some Thai chilies, which, as you can tell, I keep mine frozen as well. I don't want to finely chop this because I just want it to gently infuse. So I'm just going to add it to my mortar and pestle and just pound them so they're bruised. But then they're still whole, so that way no one gets a surprise bite of super spicy heat, but it's still infusing some chili flavor and heat into there gently. And people can just eat around it if they want. Okay, so we will let that simmer for about 5 minutes. Oh, and if you want to make this tom kha, by the way, you'll just do maybe 2 parts stock and 1 part coconut milk. I'm going to season this with some fish sauce. And again, because we are freestyling it today, I'm just gonna glug, 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 which means I need to taste. Ooh, good. Ooh, that's spicy. A little bit more. That's good. And I'm also gonna add a touch of sugar. And I'm gonna do just light brown sugar because again, this is lazy cooking. It's leftover dinner. We don't need a lot of work here. You can just do granulated sugar as well. It'll totally work fine. So now my broth is seasoned. I'm going to add my vegetables. Now you can throw in, normally I'd say throw in any kind of vegetables you've got left over, but it might mess with the flavor. So I stick with something a little more neutral. So mushrooms are classic. So I got oyster mushrooms here, which I love. You can do any kind of Asian mushrooms. No button mushrooms. I say this every time I make a soup. And then people keep sending me pictures of their tom yum with button mushrooms. And they say, I know you said no button mushrooms, but I made mine with button mushrooms. Okay. That's fine. It's your soup. Okay, so the mushrooms are going in and they just need about a minute to cook. Our meat is already done. So I'm just going to add them at the end, heat it up, and then kill the heat because you don't want to overcook the meat in the soup, right? So give that a minute. Okay, so the mushrooms have softened a bit, and if you are not doing tom kha, I also like adding tomatoes. And I say not doing tom kha because tomatoes and coconut, that might be good, but it's just not something that we add to tom kha. But it could be good, you can try it. But if you're making tom yum, then tomatoes make a great addition. So I'm gonna add them in, and also I'm gonna add my leftover meat of your choice. So there's our turkey going in. There we go. Now that just needs to heat through. Oh, by the way, you don't eat the lemongrass, you don't eat the galangal, and you don't eat the makrut lime leaves. Those are there just for garnishes. You can take them out if you want, but you'll have a heck of a time trying to chew through that. Okay, turkey is heated through. Now I'm going to turn my heat off because I do not like to cook my lime juice, which is the next thing we're gonna add. And this soup is sour and spicy, so you do want quite a bit of lime juice in there. Okay, I'm gonna do all of my limes here because now I'm going to taste this one more time. Ooh. Oh, that's so comforting. Oh, a little bit more cilantro. You can do green onions for you 10% of you out there who are opposed to cilantro. And that's it. Beautiful tom yum leftover Christmas. It even looks Christmassy.
Yeah,
look.
Yeah, your
It's
leftover
like,
Christmas.
Oh my God, look how cute. It's like,
It does. It's all the right colors.
it's all the right colors. Next, we are going to jaew it. And jaew is short for nam tim jaew, which is the dipping sauce that we use for just about all of our roasted, grilled, barbecued meats. It's good on like everything. This is a really good one if you have a beautiful roast that you really don't, like you're really happy with the way it tastes. It was perfectly cooked. You don't want to mess with it, but you want something a little different. So just keep it as is. put different dipping sauce on it. Okay, I've made jaew several times before, but here's a general idea. I'm going to use palm sugar this time actually, because I can conveniently pound it in a mortar and pestle, which will help it dissolve quickly. I'm just gonna pound that to break it down further. Of course, brown sugar works, light brown sugar. So I've just sort of broken down the big pieces into a really thick kind of paste powdery thing. And then I'm gonna add fish sauce. And once you add the liquid, that'll dissolve. The ratio for this, it's up to you. If you want more of a sweet and salty dipping sauce, or you want, you know, more salty and sour and not a lot of sweet, you can totally adjust. So see, once a little bit of liquid goes in, then all of a sudden the sugar dissolves really quickly. And then I'm going to add lime juice. So the ratio for lime to fish sauce is about equal parts, just like the salad, but it is the sugar that you can vary. And also, if now you have some tamarind paste, now's the time to use it. Do like half tamarind, half lime, and you get a dipping sauce that's a little thicker, a little richer. But I don't have tamarind right now. Pailin doesn't have tamarind. No, I don't actually right now. So I'm just gonna do lime. Okay, give that a good mix. Nice. I'm going to add some julienne shallots. So if you can do this a little bit ahead of time and give the shallot some time to sort of like infuse, that would be nice. Chili flakes. This is Thai roasted chili flakes. All that means you take dry chilies, you roast it in the oven for 5 minutes, or you can put it under the broiler for literally like 30 seconds to a minute until it gets dark and smoky. Grind it up, or you can just use any old chili flakes that you have. But when you roast it, you get a smoky chili flake, which adds a nice flavor. Now, the key to jaew, toasted rice powder. Again, hello, we keep seeing you. And you want to add this sort of close to serving time, because otherwise it'll just kind of swell up, absorb all the liquid. Not a terrible thing, but it's better if it's fresh. You can add quite a lot there. Ooh, it smells good. Let me just taste this first. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Spicy. Okay, into our little deeping bowl here. And then some greenery. You can do cilantro and mint, which is sort of my favorite. Okay, and that is pretty much it. Looks so good. Let's plate this up. So here's the rest of my turkey breast that I roasted and did not cut up. So this is good for meat that you know, like not just bits that you picked off the bone, but whole pieces, and you can do nice presentation. So I'm just gonna cut it. Oh, and this, if you have roast beef, this is perfect because you don't have to risk losing the beautiful cooking job that you got. Let's bring our plate here. And on the plate, we already have sticky rice, which is what you want to serve when you're having some meats with jaew. Sticky rice is really the way to go. And if you want to know how to cook sticky rice, I got a video with 7 different ways to do it. So you want to check that out. I'll link to that below. Our little dipping sauce goes right there. Ah, look at that! Better than the Christmas dinner you had yesterday. Let me just taste this little bit. Oh, it's so good. Don't need anything. Easy, just make a dip. You've transformed your whole dinner into something completely different flavor. Hey, it's keto, you can have it. Oh no, I have to put sugar in it, but that's okay.
Close enough.
Isn't that so good?
It makes turkey good.
It makes turkey good. What else do you need? So finally, we are going to pat it. And pat in Thai means to stir fry. And while you could turn your leftovers into any kind of stir fry, today I'm going to do khao pat, which is fried rice, because you really can't talk about leftovers in the context of Asian food without touching on fried rice. It is the ultimate way to use up leftovers, okay? So I'm gonna do a simple basic fried rice just to go through the process, but know that you can throw in all of your roast vegetables, bits and pieces, ends of this and that, any kind of sauces that you want with it. And I'll give you a little tip. You know how you have your turkey sitting on a plate, and then when you're done with it, there's just some liquid sitting on the plate, just some turkey juice, that's just been sitting there. Save that stuff and you can put it in your fried rice for that extra flavor. Okay, so I have a wok here. I'm going to turn it on. Garlic, lots of garlic, and then heat not too high in the beginning. Garlic is starting to brown, so I'm going to add some eggs. You don't have to stir it right away if you want that marbled effect, but if you want homogeneous yellow color, just beat it ahead of time. Okay, now because my leftover turkey is cold, fridge cold, I want to add it early so it has time to heat up. Ooh, and you want to chop it down to bite-sized pieces now that we're doing fried rice. There we go. Okay, my heat can come back up now. Ooh. Get the turkey and the eggs to mingle. It's like mother and child reunited. Okay, now the rice going in, and I'm going to once again debunk the myth that your rice needs to be cold. This literally just came out of my rice cooker, and if you cook it well and it's not too mushy, it will fry up just fine. Now I'm going to add our jellified rotisserie juice, and because we added that, I'm going to do a little less soy sauce and fish sauce, little less seasoning because that juice is a little bit salty, some sugar to balance all that sweetness, and stir fry away, my friends. Stir fry away. You want high heat. You want the rice to toast and pop. And I'm not concerned about the extra liquid from the chicken juice because I know my rice was dry and my heat is high. I'm not crowding the wok, so I am not running the risk of having mushy fried rice. Oh, it smells good already. Some pepper. I'm doing white. You can do black. And I'm almost done. Look at that. Woohoo! I'm just gonna wait for my rice to toast a bit. I love how my turkey pieces have already started to brown. As I've mentioned before, you want to not stir your rice constantly so it has some time to get toasted. And that's it. I'm gonna turn my heat off. Need some greenery. Oh, of course, vegetables. If you have some firmer vegetables, add them in earlier. If you only have just green onions, you can just add them in at the end. And just like that, you have beautiful Thai leftover Christmas fried rice. Look at that. And this again would work with beef. Or if all you had was just vegetables, this would also work with just vegetables. And then classic garnishes for some freshness. You put some cucumber that you might have from your salads from yesterday. Some lime, because with Thai fried rice, we always like a little splash of lime, and some extra badly chopped cilantro that I rushed through because I forgot about. But you get the idea. Put some more green stuff on top. It's pretty. Yay! Look at that. Let me try it. I'm curious to see how the rotisserie chicken juice works with this. Oh, I forgot my lime. What am I talking about? What am I doing? There we go. Oh, that's good. Every time I have this fried rice, it brings me back to childhood Thailand days because a basic fried rice like this is so popular with kids because it's simple, it's delicious, there's no too much vegetables that kids don't like. So this flavor to me just like reminds me of childhood. And that rotisserie chicken juice is perfect in it. It adds a little bit of a chickeny flavor that I wouldn't have normally. So definitely save all that liquid that your turkey gives off while it's sitting on the table. And that is it. How amazing is that you can turn something like this from the day before into all of these and even more. Hey, these were so easy. You can make all of them and have a whole nother feast because they were so easy. So the full written recipe will be on hotthaikitchen.com. A special thank you to our Patreon members who help support the show. If you want to know more about that, I'll put the link in the description below. Have a happy and safe holiday season, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.